Hey, you guys, it is 11 p.m. and I just got back from doing the podcast. And I have a few different things I want to talk about. So I'm going to start with the less crowd pleasing and more inaccessible things, actually. I was thinking during the podcast tonight that occasionally, or often perhaps, I say things where if you get what I'm saying, then you'd think it's funny or clever, but if you don't get what I'm saying, you just think I'm sort of an idiot. For example, um, Adam was talking about something and he mentioned Mark Gastineau. And I think he was talking about like going from being a hero to sort of a joke or an afterthought very quickly. And then I said, "Oh, you mean Brittany?" Oh, so yeah, and it was like a very sports centric discussion. And I said, "Oh, you mean Brittany's dad?" And he's like, "Huh?" And I'm like, "Brittany Gastineau's dad." But my saying, "Oh, you mean Brittany's dad," was sort of to illustrate that Mark Gastineau has now become an afterthought. But I was, and I hate that I can even envision the comments as I'm talking. Like, I feel like that's a result of having read too many comments, probably. Or that's just something I need to shed. I need to shed an awareness and a concern for how the internet is going to respond to things I'm saying as I'm saying them. But for right now, I'm still walking around with that, like a backpack full of comments strapped to my back, a fanny pack full of internet vitriol. Um, anyway, my point being, if you realize what I was saying, then it would make sense, and if not, you'd think that I'm just a dumb bitch mentioning Brittany Gastineau and having no idea what we're talking about. And then another thing I said, where I felt that same thing was, I forget now what it was, but I said something. We were talking about, it was, I can't remember, but I said something like, we're New York, LA, and I'm like, well, it happened there before it happened here. It happened in New York before it happened here. But that was just a joke about the time zone. So either you got it or you think I'm an idiot. So I guess what I'm trying to say is if you're watching this and you think I'm an idiot, consider the fact that maybe it's you who's the idiot. Anyway, show was fun tonight. I find that after the weekend, shows are usually, it's like a little, what am I trying to say? If we do shows every night, then by the live show Thursday, I feel more warmed up and like tighter and stuff. Whereas after the weekend, it takes a little longer to get back into the groove. Even though I'd say I'm pretty in the groove all the time now because we do these shows so often. But I'm just saying sometimes after the weekend, it's a little bit, I don't know, like sometimes there's like a very easy pass, to use the sports metaphor, a very easy, comfortable passing of the ball, and sometimes I have to run up alongside Adam and just grab it when he's not looking. And one more comment about that. Tonight we were talking about like taxi drivers and car drivers and them talking to you and treating you as an equal. And I was pointing out how sort of shocking that is when someone I'm trying to figure out a way to reduce the repugnance of what I'm about to say because I'm hearing myself once again and I sound like such an asshole. But it's weird, okay, especially if you spend a lot of time in New York taking cabs. It's weird when someone who's driving your cab starts speaking to you as if you guys have just like met at a party and you're just making small talk and talking to you as an equal. And it's always sort of shocking. And I find it's usually unwanted. Like you'd rather just drive in silence. And I was pointing this out, and then I had to add though that every time I feel that way, then I realize actually I'm a terrible person. I mean, not really, but that's sort of a really odious thing to say or to think. And I had to throw that in tonight, and I feel like the subject had already changed because I was concerned that people would just hear me saying how much I hate when people try to speak to me as if they're on my level. Because that makes me sound like an asshole. Okay, moving on. Something that I sort of wanted to bring up on the podcast tonight, but there wasn't really an opportunity, so I'll just share it with you guys. Recently, I went wig shopping with a friend of mine who has lost her hair because of chemotherapy. And she had a synthetic wig, but now she wants to get a natural hair wig. So we went to this place. It's a salon that makes natural hair wigs. So already it was sort of a arguably upsetting or somber event, even though the woman who runs the place is like very chipper in a way where it's a little bit too much, actually. And also all the wigs had been chemically straightened, and chemically straightened hair has a certain way it hangs. Like my hair is I have naturally curly hair. My hair has been straightened. So looking at all the wigs, it was sort of freaking me out a little bit because I'm just like, it looks like my hair everywhere. And I have I don't like clowns, I don't like mannequins, I don't like any of that stuff. So there was just something about the fact, and I've gone with this friend to wig shopping before, so wig shops already sort of creep me out. But I had really suppressed that the first time because I wanted to be there for this friend, and then now she's doing better, so I think that allowed me to sort of have my own reaction to all this more. But just everywhere I looked, there were just like, fake heads with this hair on them that was real hair, and the woman who runs the place was telling me that a lot of the hair is actually the client's own hair. Like they will, they know they're going to be losing their hair, so they'll, I guess, cut off their hair and have a wig made out of it, which is actually smart, but at the same time I was just looking at all these different wigs thinking, my God, each one represents someone who is going through chemo right now or has cancer. And then also in the back of this place, that's where they sell the wigs, but it's also a hair salon. So at a lot of the stations, there would just be like you think that there's a client there, but it's really someone styling a wig. But from the back, if you don't look closely, you think it's a person there, because the wig is like on a stand where the chair would be. So this is all going on. She buys the wig, blah blah blah. And the wig saleswoman is like telling us all these stories in this really like happy way, each of which like, oh, and then a mother and daughter were here and they both needed wigs, and I'm just like, oh, this is not. There was something manically upbeat about her affect, despite the story she was telling, which is exactly okay. So then we're on our way out, and then out of nowhere bounds this woman who was just there to get her hair done. Like there's the wig stuff and the cancer stuff, but then there's just regular clientele at this hair salon as well. And I don't know how she got on this topic, but like it felt like a non sequitur. But then she's like, yeah, I'm 49, never been married, never been asked. And then she says, and the funny thing is that, and she's talking to the woman behind the counter. She's not talking to me, but I was right there. She's like, the funny thing is that ever since I was a little girl, the only thing I ever wanted in the whole world was to be married, but blah, blah, blah. And it just, there was something so tragic about her words, even though she had this big, and I'm happy and I have a lot of cats and I'm a little bit crazy. I don't know. She seemed a little bit nuts because, I don't know, again, like her chipper, despite the fact that she was saying this thing that clearly had all this pain behind it. I don't know. I was thinking there's something off about her. But anyway, for some reason, I just walked out of there holding the head with the wig on it, feeling just overwhelmed, and sort of I started tearing up a bit. My younger sister is getting married, and so I don't know if in the back of my head I'm worried about whether I'll actually get married or not. I mean, that would be sort of the obvious interpretation of my emotional reaction to everything. But I don't even know. I think it's just there's something so sad about the idea that all she ever wanted was this thing that never happened, and now she's like putting a smiley face on it. Also, I think that I just don't spend a lot of time worrying about whether or not I will get married, whether or not I will have kids, and yet I intend to do both of them. I just feel like it'll happen when it's supposed to happen, and you can't force it, and forcing it makes it worse. And I've grown up always believing that people who want to get married get married. But then here's this woman who seemingly all she ever wanted since she was a little girl. So I don't know. I don't know what's exactly going on inside me as relates to that. It also could just be that, like, if someone, I'm very ready at all times to feel pain for someone else. So it could just be as simple as, like, she ripped off a Band-Aid and I was like, oof, there's a cut there. I'm going to feel it for you. So it could just be that, the words got to me. But I don't know. I think it was more than that. I think the whole thing just felt very sort of surreal and upsetting on a number of levels. So yeah. That. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to share or need to share. Hair tenna problem. Ever since I was a little girl, all I ever wanted was not to have a hair tenna. I guess that's about it, you guys. I love you. Okay, bye.